Oh, I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I'm doing a vigil to remember 3 victims. But I kind of want to just share with you all a little bit about my crazy day. Um, so hopefully it'll make sense. Um, well, you know, it's been rough lately because the weather is getting colder overall, and I am heading more and more north overall. And today was one of those days where it wasn't so bad, but the circumstances that I went through really just made the weather seem that much worse than it really was, because it actually wasn't that bad. And it was probably around 40 degrees today, which is, when you're walking is fine. But I started the day off okay. I left my host's house in Salisbury, and then I got lost in a neighborhood. And, I was kind of hurried this morning when I was mapping things out and feeling probably a little bit more confident than I should have, that I would find the main road that I needed to be on, which was Highway 29. I'm in, Salisbury, North Carolina, heading towards Lexington, North Carolina. Pretty simple, but there's a little jaunt in the road, and I missed it, and I ended up going into this neighborhood that ended up dead ending into like this patch of woods before another neighborhood started, and I was already way deep into it, so I decided to just tromp through the woods, and it was pretty crazy, and there was a lot of thorns and things I had to deal with. But about 45 minutes later, I got to the other side, the other patch of neighborhood, and I actually took some photos and videos specifically of that experience. There was a little creek I had to go over, and it was just crazy. So that was the first crazy experience of the day. And then I find my way out to the main road, 29, and I go up 29, and I go over a river, and there's some construction, which I checked ahead of time to make sure this bridge was actually there, because if some of you have been following, you noticed that, you probably remember that in Tennessee, there was a couple bridges that I came to that were not so pleasant to cross, and one of them actually I had to go completely back around because it was dismantled. The whole bridge was just gone. So I was worried that that could happen again today, but it was passable, and so I got out over the bridge, and then I guess I took the wrong turn. I went up Road 150, and I was supposed to stay straight and maybe even get on Highway US 85 for like an exit or two. But I swear I saw the signs that were to direct me, in the right direction, and I did not. Apparently, because I ended up walking an extra like 6.5 miles today. And I started late today because I knew I only had 14 miles to go. So I planned it out so everything would be fine for me to get to where I am. Anyway, didn't work out that way. And halfway down 150, or actually more than halfway down it, in the sunset, and I stopped at a gas station and asked some folks there for directions, and they didn't really know, where I should go. And then this one guy who was a customer in the store, he comes out, and before he gets into his truck, he tells me which way to go, and was very helpful. And he's asking about why I'm walking, and I tell him I'm walking for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender equality, and gender identity, I didn't get too deep into it with him. I could kind of see the look on his face right away. And, he's helping me figure out the way I need to go, and then, he drops into the conversation. I don't support what you're doing, but, I want to make sure you get to where you need to be, and blah, blah, blah. And, when I hear those words from people, and it happens, I don't know, I don't know how many times out of 100 it would happen that people who stop and talk to me aren't supportive. you know, it's a fair shake, I suppose. And you know, it's one of those things where it puts me in that situation where I don't even want to take help from this human being. And sometimes I'm able to use it as a teachable moment. Today was just not one of those days. I just had to keep going. And you know, he was nice in that he stopped again once I was halfway down, you know, between the gas station and the hotel that I'm staying at right now. But it's still it's one of those things where people say these things, these micro oppressions. One of my hosts, Roger, told me about that term, and it's so true. It's these micro oppressions. And it's just like things that people say without even realizing it is something that's negative and based on myth, and it just angers me. But that's why I'm out here. Anyway, so I get to this hotel, and it's way overpriced, but it was the closest one. Like, it was just timed out. This is the best place to stay tonight, and especially after all of this that happened. And I get here, and their office is closed, and I'm like, what motel, hotel, whatever, has their office closed? And of course it's way overpriced, so it really just didn't make sense. And so I called their number and talked the person into coming down, and she came down and let me in. And so now I'm sitting here in this hotel. It's like an extended stay. It's like $79. It's just crazy expensive. I'm used to paying $40 or so for a place, maybe 50. And it's just, I don't know. So this is the stuff I went through today, and it's all jumbled because I, you know, ended up walking over 20-something miles and wasn't prepared for that today. I mean, I do that almost every day, but just today, mentally, I wasn't prepared for it. And just had to get over that and just do my job and walk. But of course, that explains probably why this is coming out so jumbled and taking me forever just to tell the story of today's events. And so I had a pity party for myself towards the last few miles, and was thinking about, you know, all the stuff I've seen and gone through, and the highs and the lows in the past couple of years. And today was one of those reminders that it's not over yet. I'm still walking. You know, the party isn't started yet. And it's hard for me because I want to stay in the moment, but you know, the other stress I've been dealing with has been trying to figure out my life after walking, and I'm going to be launching a new project that I'm very excited about, and I hope people will support. You know, but I've been having this feeling today, kind of hit home, where, you know, I have a fear. I have this fear that after the walk I'll be truly homeless. I mean, I've been homeless in a certain context while walking, and definitely felt, you know, the precariousness that comes with living off the kindness of others. But once I'm done walking, I mean, I went into this with a little bit of money from what people gave me to start, and I come out of it pretty much in the same way. I don't really have anything, and I've done this because I believe in it, and I've done it because I wanted to do the theater and the workshops and everything that I've done that's gone along with this. You know, you know, I've said before that if I was doing this for some other cause, I'm sure I'd have more support. It'd be easier to find hosts, it'd be easier to find people along the way to help me out, to get media attention, which helps get more people involved. You know, and I chose to do what my heart told me to do, not to do what was easy. And I wouldn't change that for the world. But, you know, when you're walking down the street and someone's trying to give you directions and you're lost and it's late and you're tired, and they throw in something like that, it's just not what you need to hear after all this. But what I'm reminded of, and I've been meaning to do this vigil for the past few days, is that the stuff that I go through out here walking, is really nothing in comparison to what happens to those who suffer the worst fate from this kind of hate. And I have to keep reminding myself of that because that is so very true. And these stories, the parents and the families that I've met of victims have forever changed me. The people who will tell me about their loved one that I did a vigil for and they found the video online, that's life-changing to know that you can actually help get someone's story out there that's most likely been ignored, definitely by the mainstream in our society. And so I light the candle today for 3 different people who were transgender and who were murdered. The first 2 are victims from the Charlotte area, which is the area that I just passed through. And the 3rd victim is from Chattanooga. I've been walking so much and just so nonstop almost for the past several months that I feel like I've neglected things in here. I forgot to do a vigil when I was in Chattanooga, and I realized it about a week later. Oh, hold on, my pizza's here. I'm just going to leave this running. Yes, hi. You going to sign that?
Yes, sir. You got me?
I think I have one. Hold on. Yeah, I got it.
You got one?
Yeah. And they already put the tip on here, yeah. Thank you, appreciate it. You too. Pizza. So I have pizza. I'll put that back here. The smell is killing me. That's the other thing today. I didn't really eat much because I didn't think I had to, because I thought, well, I'm going to be, near. I mean, I just made so many assumptions today, and that I know that that's just wrong, and it doesn't help me at all. But I assumed I'd be passing a restaurant or something where I could sit down and actually have, like a decent lunch or something. And I mean, that didn't happen. And so convenience store food, yet again. And as I stood up, I forgot one thing that I wanted to share today that happened. To add insult to injury, to injury to insult, to everything in my little dramatic life of today. I bought one of these because I figure, well, when I realized that I didn't have a full lunch or anything, I was like, well, I need to get something in me that, so I did one of these naked juices, which I've done before, and sometimes they don't agree with my stomach, and sometimes they're fine. Well, today was one of those days where it did not at all agree with my stomach. And in a neighborhood, not the same neighborhood that I got lost in, but a different neighborhood, I had to find a place to evacuate, which is always a challenge. But today was specifically a challenge. There was really nowhere to go. And so I found one little lot between 2 houses that was all overgrown. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go down in there. And so I park Equality Card across the street, and I go. They had it looked like an old electrified fence that had shrubbery and things grown over it. So I figured it probably wasn't live, and it was just like fencing off this lot of this property. And I found a weak spot in it where it was kind of bent down from like a tree or something that fell on it. So I just kind of stepped over it and got behind a couple bushes, and wow, yeah, not to be too graphic, but there was an explosion. And beyond that, I left my baby wipes that Nadia, she'll probably watch this, gave me, and I left them somewhere in the past week, and I just haven't replenished them. So I had my toilet paper, of course, so I did that part of the business. But without the baby wipes, the acid from inside yourself ends up kind of, you can wipe all day, and there's still going to be kind of an acidity to your bottom. And so when I got into the shower here, and this has happened to me before, and you just sometimes don't know. No, I mean, the water hit my back and it rolled down into my butt, and it was just this searing pain. It was not a good pain in the ass. No. And hopefully by tomorrow morning it'll it'll be okay, and I won't have pain while I'm walking tomorrow. So anyway, just that added to everything else, yeah, that made for a day. But coming back to the vigils, it's nothing. And when I really, I own my pain, and I work through it and I deal with it, but it truly is nothing compared to what these folks have had to go through. And I have to remember that these vigils are really the most important thing that I'm doing while walking. I really feel that. And so here we go. For Charlotte, we're going to be remembering today. And if you have a candle at home, I encourage you to grab it right now. Pause the video maybe and just light it with me if you want to, if you're so inclined. In Charlotte, we're remembering Aretha ReRe Scott, also known as Franklin Freeman, who bled to death after being shot in the leg on June 7th, 2002. And then we're also remembering Toni Alston from Charlotte. And Toni was 44 years old, and she was shot to death. And then from Chattanooga, we're remembering Della Reese, also known as Lester Childress, who had multiple stab wounds. Toni was murdered on April 3rd, 2010. And then Della Reese was murdered July 26th, 2001. And as I always say, these are just a few examples of just countless stories that are out there. Oops. God, I need to get a lighter. I don't know why I've been struggling like this for so long. Okay, just put this down. Almost. This is one of those days. My matches got wet a while ago from a snowstorm or a rainstorm, and so that's another thing I haven't replaced yet. But I'm gonna get this damn candle lit. There we go. Oh, come on. Shh. Bear with me, please. We're going to get this. I tested this right before the video, of course, and it lit just fine. So come on. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. Normally I'd stop and restart, but for some reason today I just feel like I want you to see everything. And there's no editing in this video. This is how it is. I'm gonna use every last damn match. Come on, you were there. Come on. Come on, you were there. What's going on? Yes! We got it. Ow. Oh, yeah. Trying not to breathe on the flame because it's very faint. No, don't go out. Oh, damn it. We're doing this again. Come on. Alright, we're going to get this again. There we go. Yeah, I just want to say one final thing. I watched Obama give his inaugural address, and it's wonderful that for the first time in United States history, the word gay, I think he even said lesbian, or maybe he didn't say, I don't know, maybe he just said gay, was invoked in that speech. But until the day comes where those words are actually put into action, and not just gay, but full equality for people because of their gender identity, their gender expression, their sexual orientation, their gender. Those words are meaningless. And I see people post things about how excited they are that he said that. And I don't want to take that excitement away from people because I do think that is a big step. But we need so much more than that. And we need to believe that we deserve so much more than that. Because until we have full understanding and full equality and equitable lives compared to everybody else, you know, those that are most vulnerable are going to continue to be murdered. And it just kills me every time I read these stories how brutal it is that our sisters and brothers are being killed and being beaten and taking their own lives. And so we got to get out there. I would encourage anyone watching this video to just get out there. Do something. Just do something. Do what you can do. Do something that might be a little scary to you, but you know is the right thing to do. Come out to your family. Get involved with these movements towards full equality. Do something. Just do what's drawing your heart in the right direction. We need that. I mean, I just imagine if that guy who stopped me today, if all of the people who he knew who were trans or gay or queer or supportive, if all of them had at some point said something publicly, you know, he'd probably be at least less inclined to share his bigoted view. But we've got to do that. We've got to get out there, and no one else can. We're the ones watching this. We're the only ones who can do that. So I just want to encourage you to do that. And thank you everyone who's been here for me and to help support what I'm doing. And I love you. I love you all very dearly. And now at 25 minutes, I guess it's time for me to shut up. All right. Have a good night, everyone.